All right, guys, what's happening? What's happening? It is Friday, September 17th, 2021. This is episode 401 of Morning Perspective. And this morning, man, we're going to talk about a topic that I can guarantee you every single person that is listening to this, watching this, whether it's live or on the replay, will have probably been a part of one of these types of conversations at some point in the last several years and definitely throughout your life. The title of the show is It's a Waste of Time to Argue with a Fool. And the reason that I thought it was important for us to talk about this morning is that I see it happening like nonstop on the internet. And so I shared a post on my Facebook page and my Instagram a couple of days ago. And in both places, it got a lot of attention. It got a lot of comments, a couple hundred shares. And that tells me that a lot of people can relate to the idea of arguing with a fool. They've probably been lured into this type of situation at some point. And so that's what we're going to talk about this morning. Let's get started. It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life. And then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up. All right, guys, what's happening? Good morning to you, and welcome to an interesting episode here, man. This is, it's a waste of time to argue with a fool. And I mentioned it in the introduction. I'll mention it here again right now. Over the last few years, guys, it has gotten really difficult in the online space, social media, even in everyday life, to find yourself on the opposite end of a conversation with somebody that literally will tell you that the sky is green. And so, what I see so many people doing is they engage in these types of conversations with unreasonable people. They engage in conversations with people that want to argue that the sky is green, right? And when you think about those types of interactions, we've all had one, right? We've all been lured into the scenario of engaging in conversation with somebody that's just never going to agree with you. There's a position that is reasonable to debate, and I am one that encourages and stands for, healthy conflict, being able to, discuss a situation with somebody. I'm not so sure that social media is ever that arena. I don't think that many arguments or debates get solved or many opinions get changed in the comments section of Facebook or Instagram. I just don't believe that. And when you think about how much time people spend, and I see it all the time, when you think about how much time people spend arguing with people who really they're never going to understand what you're saying. They're never going to agree with you. They don't have a high level of education or background or common sense, for that matter, in a lot of cases. When you find yourself in these scenarios of people that are arguing with you or debating with you or disagreeing with you that don't really have a reason for why they're doing it, it is a complete waste of your time to continue with that conversation. And I want to talk more about that. I want to get into it in a lot of detail this morning. But first, I want to start off by saying good morning to some folks. Ed, what's happening? Sharif, good morning to you over there on YouTube, man. Thanks for joining. David Martin, John Rugg, what's happening, guys? Daniel Good is over there on YouTube with us too, man. Absolutely going out like a lion, not like a mouse this morning, this Friday. Scott Rhodes, thank you for sharing, brother. I really appreciate it. Tammy Clark, Rick, Curtis, and Jared, good morning to you guys, and thank you guys for being here. So, this behavior or this routine or this habit of arguing with people or debating people that don't have really any knowledge of a situation. They are just standing by a position with no backup whatsoever, right? They have no knowledge. They have no education on what it is that they're talking about. They just simply take a position and refuse to move from it. I want you guys to think about how many times you've been engaged in that in the last handful of years, whether it's in your personal life, live and in person, or if it is, in a scenario on social media where, you either find yourself reading a comment that somebody made and you want to respond to it. I see so many times, man, complete strangers arguing with each other in the comment section of a news post or the comment section of somebody else's post. And, for me, I value time at such a high level that, I have a difficult time making sense of people that lean into those types of arguments, that are willing to sacrifice their time for a total stranger that has made a ridiculous comment in the comment section of social media. And it happens all the time. I think we would all agree on that one. It happens every single day. And with all the things that are going on in the world, guys, it's important to remember that there are going to be multiple sides to every scenario, regardless of what it is. Makes no difference if it's, political or it's personal or it's something about somebody famous, whatever it is. There's always going to be multiple positions. What I've tried to practice in my life is the ability to listen to other people's opinions, right? The ability to really try and understand where somebody else is coming from, and especially those people that I disagree with. With that said, that comes with an asterisk that says if somebody is an absolute idiot, then it is very difficult to have that conversation. If somebody is completely unreasonable and uneducated and has no idea why they have the position that they have, well, that is not going to become a productive conversation for either party. It's not going to be productive for you, and it's not going to be productive for them. There's an old saying that says, never try to teach a pig to sing, because you won't be successful and you'll frustrate the pig. And that is an important thing to remember in these types of situations, is if you spend your time arguing with fools, then who is really the fool? Because your level of awareness should lead you to not doing that at all. Not being a person that is able to be lured in to a conversation with a person that wants nothing but to argue with you. They want nothing but to spend their time frustrating other people instead of educating themselves on the very topic that they are debating. And everybody, drop something in the comments. Drop a 1 in the comments if you can relate to that. If you've been involved in one of these scenarios, tell the truth. Have you argued with people in the comments? And just so you guys know, most of you who are watching live, I've probably seen do this, so you better tell the truth. Drop something in the comments if you've been involved in one of these types of debates. Sharif has 3 1s. He's a frequenter. Everybody's been involved in one of these. And here's what I'm going to tell you guys. And I want to leave this one short this morning so that we can have a productive Friday. Time is the only thing we got, guys. Time is the only thing we have. When you guys show up here every morning, the gratitude that I have for you showing up here every single morning is because what you spend with me is the most precious asset that you have. That is time. I don't care if you're watching live, if you're listening on the replay, if you're, listening on the podcast, on YouTube, on Facebook, whatever it is. You are investing your time to listen to a message that I am delivering to you. And that means a lot to me. And it hopefully means a lot to you. And if you don't get anything out of this show, then don't continue watching it. Don't continue listening to it. because your time is incredibly valuable. And so when you think about this, when you think about these interactions that you have, when you think about the person that frustrates you in traffic, when you think about the person that, is being an idiot inside of Walmart, as David Martin just mentioned, it is important, guys, for you to recognize your own position. How do I want to spend my time? Do I want to spend my time in an unsuccessful back and forth conversation about something that the other person probably, it's a high likelihood that the other person doesn't have any knowledge of the situation they're talking about? This is the truth, guys. Not many people read. Not many people study. They get their information from whatever is coming through their news feed or whatever alerts come up on their phone, and they do not take the time to actually educate themselves. And I'm not talking educate yourself by reading the article that comes up as a notification. I'm talking about taking something that is said and actually verifying it other places, going and reading an opposite opinion, having some real knowledge and education about a topic. And here's the facts, guys. 99% of the people who are on social media sharing opinions that infuriate you have very little knowledge, very little education when it comes to the topic that they're talking about. But the problem and the challenge with social media, there are many blessings that come from social media. I've met the most amazing people in the world via these platforms. The challenge that comes along with it is that it gives everybody a voice. And that voice is able to be distributed everywhere. It's able to be all over the place. And people are allowed to debate that uneducated voice. They're able to waste their time by leaning into a conversation with a person that read a headline and made a comment. And so for our world to get better, guys, for our world to become more productive, for us to live better lives, for us to feel more fulfilled and more calm and have more peace in our lives, we have to learn when it is appropriate to engage in these types of conversations and when it is a complete waste of time to argue with a fool. And I think if we all take the time to take a step back when we find ourselves in these types of conversations, we will find out that more often than not, the conversation we're about to enter, the debate that we're about to have, is probably not with a person that we want to have it with. Now, with that said, I want to be clear. It is extremely important from an educational standpoint for us to embrace conflict, for us to have conversations with those that disagree with us. But the person on the other end of the conversation has to be qualified for that to be beneficial. They have to have some level of knowledge, some level of common sense, some level of understanding of what it is that you're trying to have a conversation about. If they don't qualify, it is a waste of time to argue with a fool. Think about it. How much time have you spent in the last 2 years debating people that were never going to change in the first place? And I urge you, as you think about this today, because I'm sure it will come back up in your mind as you go throughout the day, spend your time with the people that matter. Spend your time with those people that you can have an impact with, that you can have a conversation with, that are reasonable, that also want to learn. Spend your time in those places. Cast your own message and allow that message, instead of a debate with another person, allow your message, the consistency and frequency of your message, to be your debate, to be your statement on where things stand. I don't think anybody that follows me or knows me spends any amount of time interacting with my content would have any questions about where I stand on things. I don't engage in those conversations that I used to with people that just have an opinion with no backing, no knowledge, no education. I tend to try to get into conversations with people who will elevate my level of understanding, my level of awareness, my level of intelligence. And I leave those people who waste their time arguing in the comments to be with each other. And you should too. That's what I got for this morning, guys. It is a Friday, as we say here on this show every single week. Man, make sure you go out like a lion today. Don't go out like a mouse. Don't cut out early. Don't be that person that doesn't show up 100% for this Friday. Be a person that plays to the whistle, that gets it all in and creates distance between their former selves and their competition every single Friday. 42% of your lives, guys, is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Don't let 42% of your lives go to waste. Make sure you play to the whistle, guys. Have a great Friday, and I will see you again Monday morning, same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. Love you guys. Thanks for being here.